Rats. Rats and more rats. What a cheesy time it is. Double cheesy. The age of lowered expectations. How'd this great country of ours get so cheesy? Something I wonder about every day. Gotta sing, gotta dance, forget it. I turn on the radio, it's all Clear Channel all the time. Turn on the TV, the politicians don't want to deal with the real. They go for the Gouda. They're gonna save me from dirty words. I think maybe war, poverty, addiction, disease, unemployment, and intolerance are the dirty words the government should worry about. Let's go see a movie, it's a sequel. Go to the restaurant, it's a chain. Nothing is authentic. I can't even leave home without stepping in the cheese. It comes in the mail. Mr. Baer, you might already be a winner.
It's a cheesy world, and the only way to survive is to build a bigger rat. Seems even the kids understand this these days. I heard someone pressing the buzzer on the front gate. The gate was open, but my dog was not about to let a stranger onto the property. The young man, high school age, maybe college, was clutching my Wall Street Journal. He wanted to walk up. I told him not to even think about it, that he looked like lunch to my pit bull mix, and only her electric collar was holding her back. I'm not normally this inhospitable, but I suspected that this was the bozo Sweetie had warned me about, the one selling frozen steaks. Fortunately, it wasn't him. This lad was selling magazines, or rather, the magazines were my consolation prize for donating to his cause, which was to send his drama class to Spain. "Hi, I'm Bob," the kid began. "I live in the neighborhood. I'm Patty and John Lumberman's son." I didn't recognize the name, even though I do know most of my neighbors. Young Bob then points to the Donnelly's house up the hill. "Sue Donnelly said nice things about you and said you would help me out." I say, "That's cool, but unfortunately I don't need any magazines." Undaunted, Bob says, "No problem, sir. What you can do instead is donate them to schools or somewhere." About now I begin to remember the student who tried to sell me last year. I believe he did walk up, and I believe my dog nipped him pretty good. I pictured him trying to scramble over my wooden side fence in a panic before I managed to get Harriet under control. Although that might have been those Mormon boys. What I did remember for sure was his parents also lived in the neighborhood, and another neighbor had told him to talk to me because I surely would help him. But he wasn't in drama. It was his soccer team that needed help. At the time, I was kind of moved. This was very American, the mythical America, the lost America. Neighbors helping neighbors, pitching in to send that teenager away, the kid next door help him achieve some greater goal. It was the perfect hook. Who would question it? Last year, I almost bit, but my heart hardened when the kid started whining about his dog bite. It was only a superficial puncture wound, but he adopted a tone that implied lawsuit if I didn't buy. I suspected even then I was being suckered. It was the clumsy way he tried to hop the fence. The kid just didn't seem like an athlete. Now I was hearing the same pitch again, word for word. Now I knew for sure. There was no soccer team. There was no drama class. This is all a bogus scam, a memorized script, a clever scheme to sell magazines on commission. It was brilliant. I mean, what neighbor would want Bobby going back to his parents, Patty and John, and while they were having dinner, Leave It to Beaver style, the whole family around the table, young Bobby announces with tears in his eyes that he's not going to get to perform Death of a Salesman in Seville because that cheapskate, Mr. Baer, wouldn't donate a year's worth of boy's life to the local orphanage. So I look at this huckster, and he's very clean cut, athletic, good-looking kid. Could have been a soccer player. The kid last year seemed like he belonged to drama. Maybe they got their scripts mixed up. Anyway, Bobby keeps pressing. He's a real salesman, confident, not about to take no for an answer. "Forget it, man," I say, snatching my paper out of his hand. "Try someone else." Bobby can't believe I would say no. Big house, big yard. Should be an easy mark. He won't give up. "Kid," I say, finally losing my patience, "buzz off." Although I didn't say buzz, but since this is television, I'm trying to be considerate. What I really said is, "Fuck off, kid." He looks at me like a deer caught in the headlights. None of the other folks living in Foxtrough had ever likely been so blunt. But in a moment, he composes himself, squares his shoulder, and briskly strides across the street towards the cocktail neighbors. Later, while cutting my lawn, I wonder if I had been too harsh on Bobby. I mean, letting the dog charge the open gate only to stop a few feet from him might have been overdoing it, especially since I wasn't sure if the electric fence was even working after the recent lightning strike. But when I was clearing the grass from the street, I learned I hadn't been harsh enough. I saw Edith Archer at the end of her driveway shouting at me. Couldn't hear her over the drone of my leaf blower, but I could tell something was bothering her. I cut the motor and went over. "That boy that came by today, did you buy any magazines from him?" "No way," I said. "Last thing I need are more magazines." She seemed crestfallen. "Well, that boy said you did buy from him, and he said you told him he should come over and tell me I should buy too." Old people really hate it when their trust is violated. I felt bad for her. "I hope you didn't buy." "No," she said. "I told him I didn't need any magazines, but if he needed extra money, I could sure use some help with the yard work." "What'd he say?" "Well, he was kind of vague about where he lived. He said over in South Hall, but he promised he'd leave his card in the mailbox so I could get hold of him." That's what my cocktail neighbor was doing now, going to check her box for the card. "Is it there?" She bent down and looked inside. "No." She stuck her hand inside the box in case she had missed it. When the truth was undeniable, a pained grimace of disillusionment spread over her face. "Mark, he seemed like such a nice boy. Why would he lie? I just don't understand." I gave her a hug. She needed one. Then I promised that I would bring her some okra from my garden and some of my special Kentucky Colonel mint. I didn't say the kid was just a cheese worker. I didn't say you couldn't even open your front door anymore without getting splattered in Velveeta. No, I thought, best let sleeping rats lie.